Hey, what's going on, everyone? Ruben here, the relationship non-guru. Gonna bring you the book review of the week. It's going to be on intimacy. It is another book by Osho, Intimacy, Trusting Oneself and the Other, Insights for a New Way of Living. And I have my trusty board again, and intimacy again. First of all, I want to start with the definition of intimacy, which is exposing yourself before a stranger. Now, what Osho says is that we are all strangers. Nobody knows anybody, which is very, very true. I always say that no matter how long you've been with someone, you do not truly know who they are. There are always new things you're finding out about them. I've made a video on this a few months back. If you go on the playlist and you see the relationship advice videos, I have a video on there. Now, because what I want to talk about is how he goes into what intimacy truly means, which in one sentence, you could say it is being enlightened to a sense that you know who you are, you trust in yourself, you love yourself, you don't bring yourself down, you understand your insecurities, you understand your flaws, you understand what your strengths are most proficient in. I like what he says, that your most basic need is to be needed. And I'm just gonna read a few passages off the book. Here's the passage from the book. It says, one of your most basic needs is to be needed, but nobody wants to accept that. It is my basic need to be needed, to be loved, to be accepted. Obviously, all of us, there's a reason why we're social creatures. There's a reason why if you don't have the proper amount of love in your life, you actually live a shorter life. If you don't have a lot of love and friends around you, you live a shorter life. And I think that's what that means. We all want to be needed. We all want to be loved by people, and vice versa. Then the second one he says is, everything that is beautiful, precious, is going to be very momentary, but you want everything to be permanent. You love someone and you promise, I will love you my whole life. And you know perfectly well that you cannot be even certain of tomorrow. You're giving a false promise. All that you can say is, I am in love with you this moment, and I will give my totality to you. About the next moment, I know nothing. How can I promise you? You have to forgive me. And I love that, because it's all about being in the now. Power of Now, book by Eckhart Tolle. Great read, another one. But this is just all about being in now. We're too far ahead. We're too much in the past. We're rarely here in this moment right now, not worrying about what's happening tomorrow, not worrying about what's happening 5 years from now, not worrying about any of that. Now, I don't completely agree with always being present, because that's being very passive. You have no goals. What are you going to do with your life? But in a sense, you have to have that understanding that you should be present almost anytime you're with people or you're doing something. It's like intense focus, where you're just focused on that time now. Doesn't matter what I'm making this video, I'm being in the now. I'm not worried about how many views I'm gonna get. I'm not worried about where this video might take me later. I'm not worried about that. So being in the present, just like I was saying, a good segue into that. I just want to read. It's a quick read. By intimacy, by love, by opening yourself to many people, you become richer. And if you can live in deep love, in deep friendship, in deep intimacy with many people, you have lived rightly. And wherever you happen to be, you have learned the art, and you'll be living happily there. And I love that, because I feel like once you experience those deep connections with people and those deep emotions with people, and that sense of what love truly is and what it means, not only in a husband wife per se, like, oh, I'm in love with this person. No, It's more of like spreading that energy. And I have another video on that. I've spoken about this before. Can I say? Alright. So moving on to the next thing. I read the passages because they kind of, to me, this is what I gain most from the book. I feel like this is the overall meaning to this book, like what I'm taking out of it. What is this intimacy? And I want to just, it's a review of, the most part, to me, it's my opinion. So another great quote he says is, nothing fails like success. It is said about Alexander the Great that the day he became the world conqueror, he closed the doors of his room and started weeping. I don't know whether it really happened or not, but if he was even a little intelligent, it must have happened. His generals were very disturbed. And why he got like that? Because he was enjoying the process. But then when he reached it, there was nothing else to do anymore. Now, he says it here, now that I have succeeded, I know it has been a failure. Now I know that I stand exactly in the same place as I used to be when I started this nonsense of conquering the world. And the point has become clear to me now, because there is no other world to conquer. Otherwise, I could have remained on the journey. I could have started conquering another world. Now there is no other world to conquer. Now there is nothing else to do. And suddenly I am thrown into myself. So, there's that. And then I love that this line right here, when there is no object for search, when all objects have disappeared, there is emptiness. And in that emptiness, conversion, turning inward. What do you truly want? What are you here for, in a sense? Why? That whole big question, the big question we all ask. Why? Why are we here? What is this life to me? What am I here for? And that's why I love Osho. He's like, nothing. Just think, it's kind of a nihilistic way to look at it, but when you look at it that way, there's a sense of peace when you're constantly out searching. Now, I want to talk about, I'm going to just read a few excerpts from the book where he's like, God has never created a poor man. God creates you out of his richness. How can God create a poor man? You are his overflowing. You are part of his existence. How can you be poor? You are rich, infinitely rich as nature itself. Love that line. Love it, love it, love it. And then I'm just going through like being authentic. Just being authentic. To be authentic means to remain true to your own being. How to remain true? 3 things have to be remembered. 1, never listen to anybody. What they tell you to be, always listen to your inner voice. What you would like to be, otherwise your whole life will be wasted. Your mother wants you to be an engineer, your father wants you to be a doctor, and you want to be a poet. What to do? Of course the mother is right, because it's more economical, more financially helpful to be an engineer. The father is also right. To be a doctor is a good commodity in the market. It has market value. Poet? Have you gone mad? Are you crazy? Poets are people who are cursed. Nobody wants them. There is no need for them. The world can exist without poetry. There will be no trouble just because there is no poetry. The world cannot exist without engineers. The world needs engineers. If you are needed, you are valuable. If you are not needed, you don't carry any value. But if you want to be a poet, be a poet. You may be a beggar. Good. You may not become very rich out of it. But don't worry about it, because otherwise you may become a great engineer and you may earn much money, but you will never have any fulfillment. You will always hanker. Your inner being will hanker to be a poet. That's just like, boom. Be authentic. Be yourself. It's freaking awesome. And then page 4. I like what he says about, he uses this to kind of like, how to be intimate is to be within yourself and know yourself. Trust yourself, love yourself, and know that everything's gonna be okay. What he says is, just as seeds need darkness and privacy in the earth, all relationships that are deep and intimate remain inner. They need privacy. They need a place where only two exist. Then a moment comes when even the two dissolve and only one exists. Loved it. Loved that. It's just, wow. It's like poetry reading these books. I like what he says here about being true. It's very risky. When you're completely honest with people, it's very risky. We're scared of the truth. Everyone is scared of to know who our significant other truly is. Scared to know what they're about. Scared to know what they have done in the past. We're all afraid of truth. But as he says here, the truth is beautiful. Why? Because once it's in the open, everything's out, and you can take that because you're strong and you have your emotional power is strong, then you are free. And that is a part of being vulnerable. As I say here, I'm like, being vulnerable. Being vulnerable, be true to yourself, be risky. It's just a way you can be awake, as they say in this new agey concept, where it's like awake, away from the grind, away from all of that. And in the book, he talks about being the weak and vulnerable are the ones who have power, you can kind of say. Because the hard, the rigid, the people on top, the CEOs and all those, he's like, no, they should be on the bottom. The people who should be on the top are the artists, the creators, the people who are in that realm. That use this a lot. That poets, that this is what's truly going to bring the world forward and more peaceful and all these things. And I believe in it. I loved what he says about that. But I want to just end it on this one note about freedom being the ultimate value. Freedom being the ultimate value. It's about why people are frightening. And this blew my mind. Nobody wants to become dependent. Freedom is the ultimate value. Even love is not higher than freedom. Freedom is the ultimate value. Next to it is love. And there is a constant conflict between love and freedom. Love tries to become the ultimate value. It is not. And love tries to destroy freedom. Only then can it be the ultimate value. And those who love freedom become afraid of love. And love means to be attracted to an attractive person. The more beautiful the person is, the more you feel attracted. The more fear will arise. Because now you're going into something from where escape will not be easy. You can escape from an ordinary person, a homely person, more easily. But that's it. But that was just he was answering a person's question. I told him why I find attractive people frightening. And he honestly says that attractive people are frightening because there's always people that's going to want them. They're always going to want other people because they have options. And being with an ugly person, kind of, that they'll never do anything. So he uses a few stories about men marrying ugly women because they know nobody's going to look at them. They can leave for months at a time and nobody will pay them any mind, pretty much. He can come back and the woman will still be there doing the same thing. Versus a very attractive woman, you leave them, they're going to find someone else. There are men that want them. But intimacy, trusting oneself and the other. And that is the main caveat of this book. To trusting yourself, to love yourself, to listen to yourself. Go within. And I'm going to end it there. As always, stay awesome.